Welcome to our channel. If you're curious about the finance bill in Kenya and want to understand what it's all about, you're in the right place. In this video, we'll break down the key aspects of the Finance Bill 2024, its origins, the protests it sparked, and the ongoing reactions from various figures both locally and internationally. The Finance Bill 2024 is part of a series of tax reforms introduced by the Kenyan government, aiming to increase the country's tax-to-GDP ratio from 13.5% to at least 20% over the next few years. These reforms are based on a medium-term revenue strategy (MTRS) devised in 2023 with guidance from the International Monetary Fund (IMF). The bill has introduced several controversial measures, including increased taxes on essential goods and services, which have significantly raised the cost of living. This has led to widespread protests across the country, beginning on June 18, 2024, and continuing to this day. Key local celebrities like Khaligraph Jones, Otile Brown, Willie Paul, and Bien from Saudi Soul have shown their support for the protests. Bien even released a song titled Maandamano that has become an anthem for the movement. Politicians such as Raila Odinga and Gideon Moi have also voiced their opposition to the bill. Internationally, figures like Jamaican dancehall artist Konshens, Ugandan opposition leader Bobi Wine, and South African politician Julius Malema have expressed solidarity with the Kenyan protesters. Human rights organizations and even the hacker group Anonymous have joined in, demanding the cancellation of the bill and condemning the government's response to the protests. The protests have been met with a heavy-handed response from the government, leading to numerous casualties and arrests. Despite the challenges, the movement continues to push for economic reform and accountability from the Kenyan government. Stay tuned as we delve deeper into the details of the Finance Bill 2024, the ongoing protests, and the broader implications for Kenya's future. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated with our latest videos. The Finance Bill 2024 was largely influenced by the IMF's demands, sparking intense backlash during the protests. IMF's communications director, Julie Kozak, apologized for the resulting violence but emphasized the necessity of austerity measures and policy changes for Kenya's economic stability. Celebrities. International celebrities have shown support for the protests. Jamaican dancehall artist Konshens waved a Kenyan flag during his performance at the 2024 Summer Jam Festival in Germany. Additionally, the soccer community on X, formerly Twitter, rallied behind the protesters, amplifying the hashtag #RejectFinanceBill 2024. Bobi Wine. On June 23, Ugandan opposition leader and activist Bobi Wine voiced his support for the Kenyan protesters on X, encouraging the youth and expressing solidarity. Anonymous. The hacker group Anonymous threatened cyber attacks on President Ruto and Kenyan parliamentarians, demanding the bill's cancellation. Religious figures. During a holy mass on June 23, members of Youth Serving Christ YSC called the Finance Bill 2024 an enemy to Kenyans and urged prayers for its rejection. Opposition politicians. On June 24, the Azimio Coalition Party, led by Opiyo Wandayi, unanimously rejected the Finance Bill 2024 and requested their members in Parliament to withdraw any submitted amendments. However, Raila Odinga faced accusations of using the protests for personal gain. Julius Malema. On June 24, South Africa's economic freedom fighters, led by Julius Malema, expressed solidarity with the Kenyan protesters, condemning the exploitative legislation. Gideon Moi. Kenyan politician Gideon Moi condemned the arrests and abductions of protest leaders, calling the government's tactics unacceptable. Human rights organizations. On June 25, UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres urged restraint from Kenya's police and security forces. The Kenya National Commission on Human Rights condemned the government's actions, including abductions and violence against protesters and journalists. Amnesty Kenya and other human rights groups called for uninterrupted internet access during the protests. International reactions. The United States and 13 other nations, including Canada, Germany, and Britain, expressed shock over the violence. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken reportedly urged President Ruto to exercise restraint. State response. Following the protests, the Kenyan National Assembly approved the deployment of soldiers to assist the police. President William Ruto declared the protests treasonous and promised a strong response. protesters stormed parliament and set parts of it on fire. Deployment of the Kenya Defense Forces. After the June 25th protests, the Kenyan Defense Forces were deployed to support anti-protest activities. This move was legally contested, but ultimately allowed with specific C.
Are you looking for entertaining and educational content to watch? Subscribe to our YouTube channel today for a variety of interesting videos on topics you love. Join our growing community and never miss out on new uploads. Hit the subscribe button now. Discover new ways to learn and be entertained by subscribing to our YouTube channel. Engage with like-minded viewers and stay updated on our latest videos. Don't miss out, click the subscribe button and be part of our exciting YouTube community.